Hello, this is Brian and my friend Brett. We are at Big Meadow North. We're getting ready to hit the Nat'l Trail. It's probably hard to see because of the sun glare, but this is Big Meadow North. We're in a parking area and a camping RV area. We are going to head north on the Nat'l Trail. Our goal today is finally to hit Sirretta Peak. We were going to yesterday, but I forgot my camera. So we ended up just, putzing around and looking around at a few things here and there. Today is October 12th, 2018. It's a Friday morning. It's a very crisp, beautiful morning here in the Kern Plateau region of the Sierra Nevada. We're in the southern part of the Sierras. Not that far, maybe about 10 miles from Sherman Pass, along some kind of rough Forest Service roads to get here. I'd say a standard car should be able to make it. It's just a little rough and rocky in spots. But we're getting ready. We're going to follow this dirt road over to there where there's a sign indicating the Nat'l. It's called the Nat'l Trail. And it also has a marker for the sign. It also says a half mile to the Sirretta Trail. I'm kind of confused about the mileage of this hike. Some say it's about 8 miles. Some say, like on the Kern River Sierra website, says it's almost 7 miles round trip. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of hoping it's a little bit less because it took me forever to get things going. When my friend and I left at 5 in the morning, but it takes time. It takes time to go over these mountains. None of this stuff is close, so it took us a couple hours to get down from Porterville, up from Porterville, over Ponderosa, down to Johnsondale, passing the Trail of 100 Giants along the way, then to get on Sherman Pass Road, go up a few miles up that, and then hook around on 22S12. That's the Forest Service route. So you take 22S12 for several miles, and then you're going to turn left onto 23S07. And that's where we're coming off right now. And on 23S07, you'll see a sign to turn into a parking area. And this is the parking area right here. My friend and I are finally hitting Sirretta Peak. I wanted to do it last year, but it didn't happen because my vacation got screwed up because of an issue. I had a car accident, so I didn't have a car to do this. But it's probably about 9 o'clock already. But hopefully this hike is a little bit closer to 7 miles than 8, because not because we're too wimpy, but it's already 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm kind of surprised it took us so long to get here. I think it's like 8 or 9. Yeah, it's probably closer to 9, I believe. But I mean, we're getting ready to do it. This is the Nat'l Meadow Trail. I'm not sure if this is the trail you take to get to Nat'l Peak, but that's not, I repeat, not on the agenda today. We're hoping to see a species of tree today that is fairly scattered here in the Sierra Nevada, called the southern foxtail pine, Pinus balfouriana, subspecies austrina. That is our goal today. So here it is, Nat'l Meadow Trail, 33E32. I'm guessing for vehicles it's most difficult because rocky terrain. So the Sirretta Trail itself is about a half mile up this way. Right now we're about an elevation of 7,800 feet, surrounded primarily by Sierra lodgepole pine, Pinus contorta subspecies Mariana, Jeffrey pine, Pinus Jeffrey, and California white fir, Abies concolor variety Lowiana. We got typical high elevation species that are found in the Angeles, like mountain whitethorn, Ceanothus cordulatus. Oh yeah, And then we got wax currant, Ribes cerium, variety cerium. And this looks like this will be interesting. Pretty soon we should be coming up on red firs. Should be coming up on red firs, and then the foxtail pines. I'm not sure exactly what elevation, but I'm assuming it's going to be closer to 9,000 feet. So we're going to follow this for a half a mile. I'll check in when we get to the Sirretta Trail, and then from there we'll keep checking in when the interesting finds happen. I'll see you along the way. I'll see you at the junction for the Sirretta Trail. Well, we're at the junction. The Canal Trail, which we were just on, continues going that way. Now we're on the junction for the Sirretta Peak hike. So this is the Sirretta Trail 34E12. Sorry it's a little glary, but so we're gonna start hiking up this way, and soon the elevation gain will probably get more substantial as the trail's starting to steepen up a bit. We are gaining about 2,200 feet of elevation on this hike, so this should be interesting. So we're going to start hiking up this way, and once we get into some more interesting finds and updates, we'll definitely be checking in. And this looks like this is going to be an interesting hike. I'll see you along the way, up the way to Sirretta Peak. Finally, after all this dang time. Yeah, so I like taking videos for the people. Oh, yeah. Here's a young western white pine right here, Pinus monticola. It's a young one. If you've seen my other videos where I've hiked in limber pine territory, they look very similar when they're young to a young upright limber pine. So I don't know if limber pine is known from this area specifically, so I'm about 95% sure that that's a western white pine, but they do look almost indistinguishable when they're young and coneless. When they have cones, the western white pine cone's a little bit longer and a little bit looser in structure than the limber pine. The limber pine cone scales are kind of like a sugar pine, where they are pretty, I would say, the cone scales are a lot more rigid, just like a sugar pine. Western white pine cone scales are not super loose either, but they're a little looser. In fact, looking up this gully, camera might not pick it up so well, but kind of where that fir tree is, you won't be able to see it very well, but there's a western white pine up there, which I can tell with 100% certainty, based on its growth, that it's a western white pine. So this elevation gain is very steady. There are some spots where it gets a little steep, but this hike is definitely reigning up there among the greats for me. We're starting to see lots of views of the rocky ridge line over there. That's the ridge line where Sirretta Peak will be found. Pardon my clearing my throat. I don't know, I still have a little bit of a cough, but yeah, we are starting to make a nice climb in earnest. Nothing overly steep so far, but then again, we are still fairly early on. Well, I'm gonna keep plugging away, and I'll check in with you soon with more updates and finds. Quick little update. My friend and I are still climbing up the Sirretta Trail. I believe we're getting a little bit closer to Sirretta Pass because I see a gap here in the mountainside. This has been an insanely wonderful hike so far. It's had its steep moments, but so far it hasn't been too out of control. I believe some of the pines along this ridge here are going to be some of the foxtail pines we're going to encounter. I guess maybe we have to be This far south would probably going to have to be a little bit higher up in elevation. I believe this is the southernmost occurrence of Pinus balfouriana subspecies austrina. So they're probably going to start at a higher elevation than they would, say, at Yosemite National Park, or I believe they should have more groves there. So far, I haven't seen any up close, but I can say for sure it's a foxtail pine. But I'm still seeing occasional western white pines. Still quite a few Jeffrey pines up here too. I believe we're above 9,000 feet, but I'm going to check my altimeter. I did bring it with me today. Let's see. What will this say? My altimeter says, I think it's off by a few hundred feet. My altimeter shows us at 8,200 feet. But I know we're higher than that because we've been climbing steadily. It says Big Meadows, which started out between 78, I say maybe a little bit below 7,800 feet, maybe about, probably, but close to it, probably about 7,750 to 7,800 feet. So I know for a fact we have gained much, much, much more than 400 or 500 feet. I could tell you for a fact. In fact, if we look behind us, we can start seeing towards the Meadow area. That looks like Big Meadow right there. That brown spot in the middle of the frame. That looks like I think that's Big Meadow. But there are several other meadows in the area too. But we're still climbing. Haven't seen the foxtail yet, but I can't imagine it being that much longer. But we've been climbing at a steady pace. The trail's not extremely steep, but it's definitely a workout. But I think the altimeter's, maybe I should have preset it. There might be a way to preset it, which I probably should have done. But when I was at Big Meadow, the north end of Big Meadow, it said we were like at 7,500 feet, maybe lower. So maybe I have to read the instruction manual and figure it out. Well, I'm basically gonna just keep hiking. My friend and I are just gonna keep climbing, and once we get to whatever comes first, the Sirretta Peak Use Trail by Sirretta Pass, or the foxtail pines, unless I find something else that I haven't seen or pointed out, I'm going to let it go until then and just restrict my camera usage to photographs. Breathing a little more heavily because we are climbing up in elevation. But I'll see you along the way with more updates. Get a nice shot towards the meadow. Well, yeah, my friend and I found a southern foxtail pine, our first one ever in our lives. Pinus balfouriana subspecies austrina. The branches kind of look like fir branches, but if you look closely enough, you'll see, here's a dead bundle. The needles are in bundles of 5, and they're bunched together kind of like a foxtail. And kind of similar is the bristlecone pine, Pinus longiva, and Pinus longiva, which is the Great Basin bristlecone, and then we got Pinus aristata, which is the Rocky Mountain bristlecone pine, to which this tree is very closely related. This tree can live for about 2,000 years.
Wow, man.
These trees can live for about 2,000 years, maybe about half as long as a bristlecone, but these trees do have quite a bit of longevity. And this is the only one I see in the immediate vicinity. I don't see any others.
Yeah,
so this is kind of the first specimen right here. I did expect the bark to be a little darker reddish, because I've seen pictures of them where the bark is dark red. It's got a little reddish, brownish in it. But I can't tell you how stoked my friend and I are to have come across our first ever southern foxtail pine. This is what the cone looks like. It's a small cone. I would say it's fairly easily distinguishable from the similar western white pine and limber pine because of the way the cone scales are. They kind of have not really a spine coming out of them, but the shape of them a little bit, and just the texture of them. The cone scales are a little bit larger in relative terms. The cone scales are a little bit larger on western whites, limbers, and sugars. But yeah, my friend and I are completely stoked. I was waiting for this day. I've been waiting for this day for a few years. I've been wanting to see foxtail pines. Maybe. That might be. But yeah, my friend and I are completely out of control stoked as we're still climbing the flanks of this peak. It's starting to get steeper. My friend and I are starting to huff and puff a little bit more, but still nothing too strenuous. And we got a western white pine right over there. So yeah, this is my first ever southern foxtail pine, Pinus balfouriana, subspecies austrina. My friend and I are completely, insanely ecstatic about this. I'm sure we'll be seeing more, especially as we get closer to the Sirretta Pass and the summit. I'm going to shoot some pictures. My friend's going to probably get some pictures, and then we'll resume our trail climbing soon. But I guess this might be a good place to take a short rest. Yeah, we could do it for a few minutes. I'm gonna.
That's awesome, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, man.
Oh, from the elevation, huh?
Yeah, I like the snap up. Definitely snap up.
You gotta get some pictures of this tree.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna.
That's a must in there. I was hoping there were seeds. That's one, man. I was hoping.
Well.
Because that's what I'm feeling down about. Because that's what, I love seeing them, but I also want to. Man, I want to get them.
I'll see you down the way with more updates. Hello, Brian. This is Brian again. Brett. We're a little bit higher up now. We're getting close to Sirretta Pass, and we're starting to notice a lot more foxtail pines in the mix. Here we got another one right here. I lost space on my camera, so I had to delete some of my stuff that was already saved to the computer from before this hike. And we got some young conelets that are probably the next year's foxtail pine cones. Start out really purplish, as you can see here. They kind of have a purplish hue, and again, the needles are bundled in a way to look like foxtails. So getting larger specimens here, like that one, and that one, and this one. So foxtail pines are becoming a lot more common in the mix as we climb up higher. So we're gonna continue on with the trail, and we'll catch you at the junction, unless we find something else insane on the way. We'll see you at the trail junction. Well, my friend and I are still approaching Sirretta Pass. Should be this bowl-shaped gap over here. Still looking out for a duck use trail. I haven't seen one yet. Keep my eyes open. Maybe it's closer to the pass. Definitely not seeing a duck route yet. So here's a young foxtail. Here's a young Pinus balfouriana, subspecies austrina. A young one. Kind of looks like a young western white pine. The bark's very similar, actually. And a lot of red fur. That right there is a western white pine, Pinus monocola. Oops. Right there's a nice sized one. And we got young red firs everywhere up here, and a decent sized southern foxtail. I'm really glad I made the journey up here. We're just about to edge up Sirretta Pass. My friend's a little bit in the back, a little bit. We're both kind of starting to feel a little bit the elevation. I mean, a little bit, but definitely feeling a little tired because this trail continues. Like I said, I haven't seen the Ute Trail yet, but this trail is going to start wrapping around the other side of this bowl as we're starting to climb up this way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here for a minute, kind of look around. A lot of shape would benefit. I've seen it as low as like 6,300, 6,400 feet. But I've seen it way up here. We're well above 9,000 feet right now. I'm not sure the exact elevation. My altimeter really isn't doing the trick, I'm afraid. We're starting to see some rocky outcropping, so we're getting close to the ridge line. So I see, it's kind of hard to see through here, but there's a rocky ridge outcropping beyond the trees there. I can't imagine this being an insanely long, drawn out hike from here on. So I'm just going to keep following this trail. If I see a duck to use trail, which we're supposed to see to our left, from what I've read on hiking sites in the Kern River Sierra, I think it was the Kern River Sierra, then I'll know where it's time to leave the Sirretta Trail and climb up the rest of the way. But I'm just going to kind of take it slow and easy and just make sure I don't miss a junction. Trail's mellowed out a little bit here, but I'm sure once we get to the Ute Trail, I'm sure we're going to be slogging our way up. But I'll keep you posted at the next update as to where we're going to make our final climb to the mountain peak. And see you then. Should not be that much longer. A friend and I found some rock ducks. Looks like we found the Ute Trail. See, the Sirretta Trail keeps going that way to Sirretta Pass. However far it goes from here, I don't know. But very well marked with rock ducks. So keep going this way, we just go to the pass. So this way will take us to the peak. So here we are. That's what you look for. Double rock ducks. So this is about as well marked as it gets. See you along the way to the top. Friend and I, this is a fox pad. Yeah, my friend and I must be nearing it somewhere. I think I see a granite block over there. I'm not sure if that's it or if it's going to be up this way, but the rock ducks tell us to start scrambling up this part of the ridge. So I guess I'm going to follow that intuition. Nice western white pine right there. And an older foxtail pine right here. And we've been seeing lots of beautiful stuff. Can't really see it from here yet because of the trees, but views are opening up to Olancha, and these trees seem like they're doing pretty well up here, huh? Heck yeah. Yeah, Olancha Peak is off that way. Yeah, it's you can't see it because of the trees here, You could see it earlier. But yeah, we're still climbing up. Looks like we might be getting to some class 2 here, possibly. Well, not yet. Still, well, it's borderline, but just gonna keep following the rock ducks. Someone should have a really big rocky outcropping. So, unless I see something insane on the way up there, my friend and I will see you at the summit. My friend and I are on the final ascent. As usual, so we're looking for ducks, and I'm going to try to find a minimalistic climbing route to get up there. The ducks are pointing this way, but I want to see. I'm going to walk around the summit block. That's the summit right there of Sirretta Peak. My friend and I are going to try to find a more circuitous approach because I don't really feel like doing class 3 if I don't have to.
For real.
Yeah, my friend and I've said this before, my friend will attest to that. We're not freaking rock climbers. But this peak has a bouldery outcrop on the top. So, okay, I'm just gonna kind of skirt around the edge of this. Eventually I'm gonna have to make an upward assault on the rocks. I keep seeing mini ducks here. Maybe these ducks will lead to hopefully a gentler ascent. Haven't seen the other side of the peak yet, but it looks like, yeah, this is definitely going to be minimum class 2. We're just going to have to kind of slosh around some boulders for a little while. So what my friend and I are going to do is we're going to try to start going up, just kind of go circling around until circling around is no longer an option. But we're going to try to pick the path of least resistance so we don't have to overly scramble too much. Like I said, we ain't rock climbers, but I know we're going to have to do some today. But getting around here, it looks like I'm finding what appears to be an easier approach around this way so far. Just got to get over this fat log. A lot of deadfall here. Now, oh boy. Yeah, we're definitely in a class 2 section right now. But I think we might go along this way where we can keep it class 2 for as long as possible. Yeah, this. Oh yeah. But now, so far so good. Yeah, this isn't so bad. Just some class 2 bouldering. Nothing. Haven't done any class 3 yet today. Gotta catch my breath because I'm not quite used to this elevation. I'm gonna check out for now. My friend and I are gonna continue going up, kind of curving around so we get to the high point. So we'll see you either when we're just about up there or when we're up there with some updates, and we'll let you know how it went. Right now we're getting to a class 2 section. Just wondering if there's going to be class 3 at the top. Probably just better to walk up the rock.
Yeah.
Wow. Whew. Boulder hopping's not too bad. Right, huh? Yeah, it's a little. Maybe. Okay. We'll check in at the top. See you at the top. My friend and I need to concentrate. We'll see up at the top. My friends, my fellow buddies, this is Sirretta Peak. This is 9,956. Wow. I probably was like 9,973 or 77.
Higher, a little higher.
Yeah. But here we are. Sirretta Peak, proud achievement. Second highest peak I have ever been to. Second highest peak my friend's ever been to. Mount Baldy or Mount Savage? I would. Yeah, this is a pretty steep perch on my friends. There's Big Meadow down there. At the far end of it.
So that brown part is not Big Meadow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's where we came from. We came from down there, where all those pines are down there.
Bro, I need to get pictures.
Yeah. We did it.
Oh,
Sirretta Peak, baby. Sirretta Peak. I'm gonna be signing that register.
Up there where you're at?
Yes.
I might make it some good for you.
Thanks.
You don't have a fear of heights like I do. I guess you'll.
Yeah, but we did it though. We did it.
Right.
You and I did it. This is some crazy stuff here. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get ready to sign the summit register, get my summit selfies, and my friend and I will get ready to head down pretty soon because we want to get back before it gets too late. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out for now. I'll see you in a little bit on the way back down. Well, looking here from here, we can see the Launcha Peak, which is over 12,000 feet. The Mount Whitney and the super high Sierra is off in this direction. That's the highest part of the Sierra that reaches 13,000 and 14,000. I believe this high peak, Sherman Peak, I believe. And one of these here, I believe, is Bass Peak. So it's an unofficial. Yeah, I believe Sherman is there. I believe one of those is Bass Peak. And I'm not sure which one, but one of these is Peak 9980, which I believe is that one there. But I ain't trying to climb that today, but my friend and I are kind of ready to start scrambling down this mountain. I think he and I are good for the day. So we'll see you on the way down. Incredible views of Big Meadow, and then the Great Western Divide of the Sierra over here. But we're gonna start climbing down. I'm probably not gonna film much, maybe for occasional updates and stuff, and then we're basically just gonna hike our way back down to the car. Oh, here's a geodetic reference marker for Sirretta right here. Interesting. But we're gonna start hiking down. Oh, okay. We'll see you on the way down. Quick little update for everybody. We are heading down. We're past the Use Trail and we're starting to descend. We basically we're just going back the way we came. We came from up that way. So this is the part right here where we switch from that side of the canyon to this side of the canyon, where we spend the rest of our hike on this side of the canyon, going back down to the northern tip of Big Meadow. So basically when you get up here where it turns into kind of a bowl, a little bit of a bowl, you'll notice the trail's going to start curving more to the west, and then it's going to go between these two red fir trees, and there's that little branch with two stones on it. I don't know if that was made on purpose. It probably was, but that's where you know you're going to be going along the trail, and then probably about a quarter of a mile up is where the used trail branches off, like you saw earlier with the 2 rock cairns. So when we came back down, we had a little bit harder time sticking to the ducked route for some reason. It seemed like sometimes it's harder to stick to it when you're going back down the mountain. But we kind of had to go back on course a couple times. Not as bad as when we did Sherman Peak, when we completely went off trail cross country, but sometimes I had to regain a ridge or poke around and keep my eyes really focused. But yeah, we're back on the Peak Sirretta Trail, and now as we round this way, we're going to be on this side of the ravine, the north side of the ravine, for just about the rest of our hike until we get down to the Meadow, which is still down yonder. But we're not going to be where the big part of the Meadow is. We're going to be basically where it narrows to its northern tip. So we got a few miles back. We're going to try to pick it up a little bit, but we will keep you updated. It's basically just going back the way we came. This is an out and back hike, not a loop or anything like that. So we're just going to continue going back, and whatever updates we have, I'll show them to you along the way, and see you back down along the way. Well, we're just about to rejoin the Nat'l Trail. This is the end of the Sirretta Trail, so it's maybe about a half of a mile back to the car. This has been an incredible experience. My friend and I just can't believe how awesome this hike is. Yeah, it definitely has its tough parts, but I would rate this hike as moderately strenuous, not strenuous, or definitely a little bit more than moderate. We did gain about 2,300 feet. Here we are, Nat'l Trail. Go back this way. It'll take us back to the car. This has been an incredible experience. One thing I can say is that it's been a load of solitude since today's a Friday. Today's a Friday. I've not seen one single hiker the entire time besides my friend. He and I have been the only hikers the entire time we've been here. The entire hike. So we had all these huge Jeffrey pines to ourselves. White firs, lodgepole pines, foxtail, and western white pines higher up. So we're back down, and we're at the final stretch before we get to the car, which will be my last little check-in. I'm not sure if this were 7 or 8 miles. I don't have mileage readers, or any technology like that, so I'm gonna have to go based on maybe looking at it on Google Earth. But it's kind of hard to trace the Sirretta Trail, to be honest with you, because it's not easily visible from the street view. I mean, not the street view, but the upper view. But this is some of the neatest Jeffrey pine forest I've ever hiked in, especially down here in the lower parts. So this has definitely been a treat. You hear water creaking, or water in the creek, I should say, water in the creek. See you back at the car for final wrap up and conclusion. So we'll see you back at the car. As I said, unless something else comes up in the way, which I don't know, it could happen.